What does the thoughtful Christian, what does the person who recognizes that Hillary is bad news, but nevertheless has a sense of dignity, of decency, of self-worth, do in this bizarre situation? How do you handle the situation with Hillary when her opponent has his own flaws? What do you do? What do you do? You are kind of in the position of the abolitionists of the 19th century, who were the only people who were pure-hearted about slavery. The abolitionists believed that slavery was inherently evil and should be stopped now. And the abolitionists even today are like lamps of beacons of moral inspiration. But it's also true when we look back that the abolitionists politically were completely ineffective. The abolitionists by themselves could accomplish nothing and did accomplish nothing. Why? Because being principled, they found no path, they had no path, at least not initially, to convert their principles into practice. Their intentions were pure, but their activities were worthless. In fact, at their meetings, most of them spent a lot of time doing things like burning the Declaration of Independence, burning the Constitution, blaming the founders for allowing slavery in the first place. Now, who ended slavery if it wasn't the abolitionists? Slavery, what happened, was ended not by the abolitionists, it was ended by the Republican Party. It was when the Republican Party won the election of 1860, a coalition that included abolitionists, but was not led by one. Abraham Lincoln, throughout his life, denied that he was an abolitionist. His position wasn't no slavery, but I will stop slavery from expanding, the extension of slavery. So the point I want to make is that when we think about morality, there are intentions and there are consequences. And quite honestly, morality involves both. Now, the problem with having pure intentions and riding a moral high horse about them is that those pure intentions can actually produce terrible consequences. And so, for example, if someone goes, all right, I normally would vote for a Republican, but on principle, I'm going to stay home in November. I want to say to such a person, you are actually casting your vote for Hillary Clinton. You're doing that. Now, you may want to do that. You may think, I'm willing to do that. You may not care. But you need to know that a vote for Hillary Clinton is a vote to swing the balance of the Supreme Court virtually irrevocably against us. A vote for Hillary Clinton is a vote to not only permit, but bring in federal subsidies for abortion. A vote for Hillary is a vote to put religious freedom, already precarious, into a much more endangered position because the checks and balances that would normally block the government are themselves being eroded. And you are voting for a regime in which justice becomes increasingly discretionary, as I saw terrifyingly in my own case, in which there were dozens of FBI agents unleashed to get my bank statements, my tax records, read all my books cover to cover, looking for a single line that could be used to incriminate me. My sentence, bizarrely enough, included mandatory psychological counseling. Think about that. This is for giving a campaign contribution. I mean, I wasn't Jeffrey Dahmer. I didn't put bodies in the refrigerator. And yet, as in Cuba, as in the Soviet Union, I'm going to government-ordered counselors supposedly to re-educate me. But I'm not re-educated. I'm unrepentant. In Hillary's America, I think it is an illusion to believe that we as conservatives or as Christians can retreat into our private spaces, drive our pickup truck to school or to work, pray in church, and they will leave us unmolested. They will not do that. They have no intention of doing that. And in a democratic society as Christians, think about it. How did we lose the media? Not enough of us got involved. How did we lose academia? Not enough of us went to those schools. How did we lose Hollywood? Not enough of us make movies. We gave up that territory, and then we pretend to be shocked when they use their power to beat the heck out of us. And the same is true in politics. American politics since Reagan has been balanced. This ship is likely to go one side up, and it's going to be a very different America, and it's going to be a very different America for you and for me. We've seen the latest WikiLeaks emails. In them, you see the kind of bigotry that the Democrats will indulge in privately against evangelicals, against Catholics. When you listen to it, you ask yourself this question: would they ever say that about a Muslim? Never. So there is a selective prejudice in our society. It's already there. It's already in the culture. But to import it to the highest level of politics, and it's one thing if it happens anyway and we fought it and we lost. But for us to collaborate with it, to make it easy, to make it happen, this is why the English phrase was invented, asking for it. For us to do that, in my opinion, is to ask for it. Look, I don't want to tell you what to do. Frankly, I know what I'm going to do. I can't vote. Because of my conviction on the campaign finance issue, I'm not allowed to vote. But I urge you to think critically. I urge you to weigh the options. I ask you to think about the American dream handed down to us from generation to generation, and ask, what can you do to preserve, protect, and defend that dream? In the immortal words of the 60s, I'll close with that saying from the 1960s, if not now, when? If not us, who? Thank you very much.